7. Can you hear me? Yeah, obviously. My name is Henrik, and I'm going to talk about the ELF-cascading service. And you might expect like a standard presentation, but instead I'm going to tell a story. A story about this guy. Can anyone guess his name?
Henrik.
Henrik? No, it's not. He's also from the Norwegian National Authority. And a lot of friends tell that he inspires people. His name's Ken. He's a pretty nice guy, and he was tasked to test some cascading services, the one called Inspire 4 and Inspire 3, because they wanted to test this in a lot of different client applications and some web solutions. So he started testing it in QGIS, ArcGIS, or ArcMap, both of them, and in FME, and also ArcGIS Online, and something called GIS Cloud. He also tested a couple of national clients, but you won't have access to them, so I'm bringing them up. The reason why Ken was chosen for this was because he works with a Norwegian geodata portal called EuroGeographics, and he works with the ELF-WFS services there, and I've done a lot of testing previously. And he also likes maps, especially he likes using QGIS. I forgot to say that I'm not going to use my 20 minutes, so I'm going to have some time later. So we started testing QGIS, and he chose to test in the version 2.18, I believe, no, 2.14 or something. This is about a year ago, so a lot of the things I'm showing now has changed in that previous year. So we started testing in QGIS 2 something, and it started. Is it like a pointer on this one? Yeah. And he chose to use the standard WFS like functionality in QGIS, and he entered the cascading service with the password, and this came up. And apparently QGIS didn't like the complex schema, so he decided to try the QGIS version 2.99, which was like the night version of QGIS 3, because it was just coming out. And the same thing happened there. The scribe feature tag failed because of the complex schema. And then he was thinking, how can I get this service to work? And then he remembered, there's a nice plugin in QGIS, which is called WFS 2.0 client, which is a really okay plugin for QGIS 2. And he entered the service, connected to it, and chose a bounding box because you had to do it in this service. And he got a map, and he was very happy about it. So he especially liked that he got cross-border, because that's like the main thing about this service. And he had never seen something like this before. And he was actually pretty impressed. And then he got excited because he got some data. But he also saw that it was a lot of different layers in the service. So he started writing them down, checking each layer, came up with this list, which is kind of hard to see. And he noticed that he couldn't load features for all of the layers. But it was mainly positive results. Not here, but on this side. But he used this as a base for testing in other applications, because now he knew that at least some of the layers gave some valid response and some features. But he also saw that there were some misplaced features somewhere here, and some of the features missed attributes. It was perfect. And then he started testing in ArcGIS with the data interoperability plugin or extension. And he typed it in, it's the same bounding box as in QGIS. And guess what happened? Can anyone guess? It's not working. Of course, every time I use ArcMap, this happens. Well, I mean, every time Ken uses ArcMap, this happens. And he got furious. And he had to make a call to some random person he never met called James. Or I don't know if his name was James. We're going to be a little bit multicultural today, changing with an Asian guy, and we're going to call him something else. And Ken over here took a look at our national services because they were working in ArcMap. And he was thinking maybe we can do some small or minor tweaks to the cascading service to make it work in ArcMap. So he said, can you add support for WFS 1.1, which is kind of against the main thing here. We're testing a WFS 2.0 service, but he was okay with it, so we added it. We also added some more versioning. It doesn't work. And he needed to add support for the subtype GML 3.2.1 because at the beginning it was only the application GML plus XML, and that didn't do the trick. And he also had to change the output formats. And some more adding of support for version 1.1. And do you think this worked? Now it was identical to the Norwegian services. It didn't. There were more things that he had to do because he looked at the call that QGIS made, which worked, and compared it to the one with FME and ArcMap, and he saw that this part were missing, the SRS name. So we had to talk some more with something, and he added a default SRS name if it wasn't a part of the call to the service. And Ken gave a thumbs up and try again. And this is FME and ArcGIS use the same WFS tool. So just so you know that it's it's the same thing. So he tried again, and finally he got the same results as in QGIS. And he also tried all of the layers in ArcMap, which was very time consuming. He didn't like that at all because it was an older version of ArcMap, 10.2 or something, or 12 or something horrible. And it took way too long to load every layer because it wasn't really compatible, but it worked. And then he chose to check out ArcGIS Online, and it didn't work because it had a basic authentication, the service, and ArcGIS Online didn't like it. But he decided to try one of the national services instead with the same structure, and it didn't work because of the complex schema that is in the WFSs. And then we tried the same thing in GIS Cloud, and he hit the get info, and he realized it said 0 features. But he hit the save button, and it started loading, so it was, he got his hopes up. And then we sat down with a cup of coffee because this took maybe 10 minutes or something before this showed up. And it works, even though it's a complex scheme. And then he realized that this service, even though it was working, it wasn't perfect. And some of the things he noticed was that all of the services that is part of this cascading service have proxies on them. And he tried to do some calls directly to the services and some to the proxies, or through the proxies. And he realized that the proxies were limiting the number of features we could get. And if he asked for, like in this example, if he asked for more than 4,000 in a service that we could, or we're supposed to return 15,000 or something, the client crashed. And he also noticed that in FME and ArcMap, there was like a WFS output format which varied a lot between each layer in the service. For some layers, you had to use this subtype GML, or in other cases, you had to leave it empty. And if you were mistaken, this came up and everything crashed. We also noticed that the service requested a bounding box, so we couldn't just open the map and ask for features. And in QGIS, it's pretty easy to do this because you can just move the canvas around and hit a new bounding box and check the features. But in ArcMap, you have to type it in manually, which is horrible when you don't find any features. And at the beginning, he didn't have this link. And this is it's a document on capabilities that says where there is supposed to be data and how many features they return per call, or it get featured by default. And well, when he got this, it was a lot easier because then he knew that like phone and stuff deliver data in for that layer, and it helped a lot. But it was still pretty. It wasn't user friendly at all. It was very hard. But then this came, which helped a lot because in this use the service, and when you turn one of them on, you would get this box. And it will say that you're not on a good enough zoom, on the correct zoom level. So you can hit this button and it will zoom into the correct zoom level and you can get features. And he was really happy about that because he had just been wasting a lot of time trying this manually. So that's all. Thanks for listening. Any questions?
Thank you very much for a very exciting presentation. And I see that Dominique is raising hand.
What about FME?
FME uses the same as ArcMap, the same data interoperability plugin. Or ArcMap uses FME's plugin. It's more correct.
Okay, thank you. One more.
Thanks a lot for this presentation, which focuses really on a key user. Yesterday I gave a presentation trying also to focus on how European Union GIS analysts face the concrete usage of Inspire. And I just wanted to make a point maybe which is related to the previous presentation as well. When we listen to the reason why most of the European Union GIS analysts are not using Inspire that much, it was one of my bullet points yesterday morning. They don't have any special requirements regarding the network services and also regarding the encoding. If you ask them the way they want to access the data or which encoding they want, in fact, it doesn't matter for them. But whatever network service, it could be a simple URL with a FTP server where they download a zip file with some CSV files. As soon as the data is available, they are okay to use whatever kind of network service or whatever encoding. So I would say maybe it explains the low availability of the data sometimes because some producers have difficulties to publish the data in the Inspire compliant schemas and using also the Inspire compliant network services. But the focus has to be put more on the availability. And I think Ken, if it had been provided just a URL to a FTP server to download a GeoJSON file, he would have been happy faster. But thanks a lot.
Yeah, that might be true. The only big problem with this service, except from the crashes, first, what's the bounding box, the restriction? Because if you have a service that you can just make it get featureable and you might get the features spread around everywhere, but at least you get some data. It was extremely frustrating to not get any data because of a wrong zoom level. And this zoom level varied between each layer, so it wasn't like a default zoom level. I've seen that because made a new cascading service that delivers everything when you ask. can ask for like administrative units for the entire Europe, and we get what's in service. We don't have to figure out where it is. And it works in QGIS 3. Just
Okay, thank you very much. We're almost approaching to the lunch, and now we have a short presentation about very similar matters that have been implemented as how to use the Inspire services and how to upload Inspire data with the QGIS